Всем привет! Привет, привет, привет всем! У меня может на фоне немножко скрипеть стул, если я постараюсь, будет скрипеть и пол снова. Вот. Всем еще раз привет. Спасибо большое, что пришли на мой стрим. Так как я у родителей отдыхаю на праздниках, я это говорю для тех, кто еще не знает. Вот, так как я у родителей отдыхаю на праздниках, то у меня с собой нет микрофона, следовательно, у нас с вами стримы необычного формата, то есть без микрофона, но с саундпадом. Хочу еще раз сказать спасибо Лисице за то, что он подарил мне саундпад. Я вообще удивилась, что программ в бесплатном доступе и альтернатив достаточно нет. Вот, так что это достаточно странно для меня, да. Много слов достаточно. Ой, в общем, да, дела у меня хорошо. Сегодня сходили прибраться на кладбище, сделали, точнее не сделали, а купили выпечки с мамой. Вот, теперь я с вами стримлю. Накачал немного мемных звуков на свой саундпад. Вот, саундпад он называется. Приятно с ним познакомиться. Звуки с собой я, наверное, запишу завтра новые. Вот, завтра тоже будет стрим. Будем играть в Coffee Talk. А сегодня мы играем в интерактивное кино Her Story. Her. В интерактивное кино Her Story. И... Да. И, в общем, это такой триллер, я бы сказала, немножко хоррорный, очень психологический, вот. Там суть в чем? Мы смотрим, кажется, видеозаписи какой-то женщины. Вот, эта женщина нам что-то будет рассказывать, ее будет что-то спрашивать, и нам надо будет выяснить, кто вообще такая эта женщина, зачем она нам нужна, и что, собственно, тут интересного и страшного. Вот. Так что давайте с вами перейдем к пуганиям и начинаем, запускаем игру.
Пельмени.
Осуждаю.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
Oh my god.
Bruh.
When you suspect someone of murdering their husband. Yeah, that's me.
As we can.
But February, I mean, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder? I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that.
Bruh.
Stories.
Bruh.
She's crying, I guess. She's sad because she thought she saw her husband with another woman. But it's okay, because she finds out it wasn't her husband, it was his brother. And so it's fine. I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do, to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I know it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now. Now he's...
Осуждаю. Oh my god. Oh my god.
We must pull up our pants, dust ourselves off.
Rehearsed? You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that the edit? All I've thought about. My husband is dead.
Bruh.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just
It's me.
put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war.
Осуждаю.
And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she couldn't marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know. When you suspect someone of murdering their husband. That Simon's I thought it made me sad. The other end of the country, keep it simple, not saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing. I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now. Now he's.
Bruh.
Warm, kind. Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead.
Bruh.
But I wasn't.
Bruh.
She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper. Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
No, God! No!
Florence raised me in her home.
No!
I never left it.
No!
She kept me out of sight.
No!
It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window
Осуждаю.
and seeing her
Осуждаю.
across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
Oh my god.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week. My name is Hannah. Hannah. It's a palindrome. It reads the
Мать
same
моя
backwards as
женщина.
forwards. It doesn't work from Merrick though, it's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith, I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
Bruh.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Осуждаю. Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Bruh.
She recognised me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. It was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place. Yes. I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and
As we
Simon.
can.
Felt like
As
going
we
back to
can.
old ways before
As we
pregnancy.
can.
Reminded me of being a girl, a dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there. It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Simon's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff. That would live there. That would be me. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I'd been down there the week before, those boxes,
No, God,
that
please,
pile
no!
was in the
no!
wrong place.
No!
I went
No!
cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed and that's when I called the police. Yes. I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and make up our own stories. Well, fine, considering. I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people have been there through my things. It's like I've been burgled. I mean, worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't looked in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out.
Рывок ануса.
And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation. So... could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from
Юми
there?
одобряет. Осуждаю.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows.
Yes.
Really beautiful.
Yes.
Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair.
Ass we
I bought a
can.
photo. They said a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have. It's the Rockington Arms, The Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they have in sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks. Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, you know, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing. Thanks. Please find Simon. I love him so much.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, and gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough.
Bruh.
We ended up brushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights. The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper, curtains.
As we
Hannah
can.
insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there. Well, my friend Eve. She was just a friend when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
Осуждаю. Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games. And that Eve was our imaginary friend.
Осуждаю.
Once, she was already up dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. My mum was amazed.
Господи, женщина, вы прекрасны.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on Saturday afternoon. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local.
No,
He said
God!
they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since.
No, God, please,
Still
no!
wasn't back this
No!
morning.
No!
Isn't like him at all.
No!
Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come and see you. His parents haven't heard anything either. Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van we uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
Ау, большое спасибо.
Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one.
Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane? Okay. I parked up in the street. It was busy, so I had to park down
As
the
we
road.
can.
Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. But he wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly in the living room. Nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep. Though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough? Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
Господи, женщина, вы прекрасны. Мать моя женщина.
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then. I mean, not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diane is a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon put something on MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel? Yeah. We were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful.
No,
It looked like
God!
Princess Diana's.
No, God!
Victorian wasn't quite as long,
No,
though.
God!
There's a great photo of
No,
the bridesmaid
God,
helping
please,
to carry her out
no!
of the car.
No! No! No!
Yeah. I've been round to Diana's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them.
Bruh.
1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful. Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up.
Осуждаю.
It was because of the
Осуждаю.
heat.
Осуждаю.
It's just awful.
Осуждаю.
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just... Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just... I hoover, I dust every week, maybe less. I once asked Eleanor how often I should dust, and she said, if people ask, tell them you do it once a week, but every few weeks is okay. I think she was just trying to make me feel better. I mean, when I was there, she was hoovering every day, ran an ordered house. You know how that generation is, putting on a brave front.
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
She has secret stashes of cigarettes. Doug doesn't even know she smokes. When I was there, I saw her. She has these sort of porcelain vases, ornamental, next to the Reader's Digest books. Cigarettes inside. And she still has them. I mean, last time I was there, I looked in a vase. There was a fresh pack. I mean, all those years
Bruh.
of
Bruh.
marriage.
Bruh. Bruh.
And she still has a secret like that.
Осуждаю. Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
I got a job to contribute, Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us. There's always been
Рыбок ануса.
pressure.
Рыбок ануса. Рыбок ануса.
Twins? Really? Are you really asking me that question?
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
Are you out of your
Bruh.
mind? Twins? You want me to play something? Okay. Probably needs tuning. No, it's okay. How about a traditional ballad? Should be right up your street.
Пельмени.
There were two sisters came walking by the sea. Oh, the wind and the rain. The eldest one pushed the other one in. Oh, the dreadful wind. See, they both
No,
fell in love
God!
for the captain's son.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
But he only
No!
cared for the youngest
Осуждаю.
one.
Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
Oh, the eldest and
sisters.
осуждаю,
Oh,
осуждаю,
the wind and the
осуждаю,
rain, with a pretty little face and her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. So she pushed her in and held her down.
осуждаю,
Oh, the wind and the rain,
осуждаю,
watched her as she slowly drowned.
осуждаю,
Oh, the dreadful wind
осуждаю,
and rain.
осуждаю,
She floated up and she floated down.
осуждаю,
Oh, the wind
осуждаю,
and the rain
осуждаю,
floated till the
осуждаю,
ship came by.
осуждаю,
Oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
осуждаю,
Out comes the captain's son.
осуждаю,
Oh, the wind and the
осуждаю,
rain.
осуждаю,
The deer here swims
осуждаю,
and swans.
осуждаю,
Oh, the dreadful
осуждаю,
wind and rain.
осуждаю, осуждаю, осуждаю,
And then it gets really weird. So I think
осуждаю.
that's a good place to stop.
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face.
Bruh.
Dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It
Bruh.
felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. just the two of us. No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no
Осуждаю.
way I could follow,
Осуждаю.
so we were separated again.
Осуждаю.
I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park.
Осуждаю.
I was
Осуждаю.
trying to get
Осуждаю.
pregnant. But I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, in parks and alleyways.
Осуждаю.
I was 17.
Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
It felt like I
Осуждаю.
was being punished.
Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
But it was
осуждаю.
Hannah who betrayed us.
Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
I had
Осуждаю.
stopped when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become
God!
people? I mean, that seemed
No!
like the right
God,
thing
please,
to do,
no! No!
but neither of us
No!
wanted it.
No!
We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan. No, I was 15. Carl was older, 17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. Stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's
Осуждаю.
really, I think. I
Осуждаю.
was really...
Осуждаю.
Those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family. I wouldn't say that. It could be passionate. It's just, it was more than that. It wasn't just sex like it had been with the other boys. Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work till or anything though. I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till. We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
Mum and Dad never knew what was going on. We got so good at it. We were so in sync that we'd use each other to cheat. If one of us had a hangover, the other one would go to school. Whoever was best at the subject would sit the exam. There were lots of differences between us. Some things one is better than the other at. It's all that matters, really, the baby. Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on. Our baby. What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Then she told me she wanted to help more.
No!
She said I should move in with her. She would come clean with Simon about me. I was family. I couldn't have a baby in a bedsit. I told her I didn't want to tell Simon. Told her to wait for the time being. It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other.
As we can.
We cleaned
As
up.
we can.
We bagged
As
up the
we
broken
can.
mirror, her clothes.
Bruh,
They're gone.
bruh, bruh,
We took him down to the cellar.
bruh, bruh,
We knew
bruh.
we had an alibi.
bruh,
And we wanted the body to be found later.
bruh,
We wanted to have suspicion on us so we could then disprove
Bruh.
it rather than have it linger.
bruh.
Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch to make sure the alibi stuck. I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep. Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from the payphone, and then... No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning. When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving
Еми вас любит.
and I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The guy was taxi. I was paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I
told him I was pregnant.
Большое спасибо.
He made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car. I wasn't in the house all of Friday night. After the argument, after Simon left, I left too. I was upset and I wanted to get away. So I took the car. I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there and Excuse me. Is there a bin?
Bruh. Bruh.
Yeah. I pulled over and slept in the car. This was just by the side of the road. I was exhausted. Asked the hospital. I don't see how it's hard. We've established I was in Glasgow when he was killed. You've spoken with the hospital?
Bruh.
No. I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until a few months after. Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents. They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed, feeling ill, thinking it was flu or they'd gone to something. The neighbour called me, I had to or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days, no one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage.
Bruh.
The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that, it was just like, fuck.
Осуждаю.
Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
Bruh.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were in
Bruh. Bruh.
But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents.
Oh my
They were
god.
married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then
the bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you, but I haven't already told the other policeman. I found the body. His body didn't look real. And his throat. It looked like his throat had been cut.
Bruh, 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 bruh.
I didn't see his glasses. He has these thick glasses. He doesn't always wear. Really? Okay. Here's the rest. Oh, they laid a body on the
Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
wind and the
Осуждаю.
rain.
Осуждаю.
Fiddler with a fiddle
Осуждаю.
came walking by on a
Осуждаю.
dreadful wind
Осуждаю. Осуждаю. Осуждаю.
made a fiddle bow of
Осуждаю.
her long hair
Осуждаю.
on the wind and the
Осуждаю.
rain. Yes, he made a
Осуждаю.
fiddle bow of her long
Осуждаю.
blonde hair on the dreadful
Почему?
wind and
Осуждаю.
and made fifty
Осуждаю.
heads of her finger bows
Осуждаю.
on the wind and the
Осуждаю.
rain. Yes, he
Осуждаю.
made fifty heads of her
Осуждаю.
finger bows
Осуждаю.
on the dreadful
Осуждаю.
wind and rain.
Осуждаю.
Made a
Осуждаю.
fiddle out of her
Осуждаю.
breastbone on the
Осуждаю.
wind and rain.
Осуждаю. 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 Осуждаю.
But the only
Осуждаю.
tune that the fiddle could play was
Осуждаю.
oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the
Осуждаю.
fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
Bruh, 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 bruh.
Everything you say is evidence against you. Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. He's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill. He might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure how it ends. Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was
Bruh,
magical.
bruh,
But it
bruh.
was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books. It wasn't the present so much, it was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. Are any of these in colour? Simon never cheated on me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale. You do what you can. Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real life fairy tale. Fairy tales. Stories about lost princesses, evil witches, magical mirrors and lost children. So you see, even before I knew the truth, I'd found it in those stories. We were obsessed with fairy tales. Not just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper and dressing the pictures. It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much? Did I pass? Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again? I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen.
we would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place. Silverleaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at the mirror. Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements. The mirror. I can't remember. I put it
my
somewhere
God.
safe. Upstairs, I think. If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to do hands to match.
God! No! God,
Once,
please,
I sat
no!
with a boy who was
No!
seeing another girl.
No!
The girlfriend came up to Hannah the next day and punched her in the face, gave her a huge black eye. That night, she had to do the same to me. But she almost went too far. I couldn't see out of that eye for days. But she snapped frozen peas up for me from the kitchen. So much of our bodies was synchronised anyway. We started our period on the same day. All our childhood diseases, stomach bugs, nits.
Bruh.
Всем пока. Юми одобряет.
No. I'm not sure what Strange would be, but he hasn't been acting odd. He's been busy at work, but nothing too stressful. No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one,
Oh
well,
my
as long as I
God.
can remember, since I was a girl. Help
helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, it just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page. Okay. Sounds weird. I'm not great at making up stories. When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. No! I had read a diary at that point, and I knew she wasn't my real mother.
No, God, please, no!
So I burned the diary that day, and I left.
No!
Walked out and across the street. Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private? Are you married? How is your sex life? So, our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage. Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different. When will the police let me back in the house? They let me take a bag of clothes with me, but... A police station? Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off, and we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve, so my parents let me off. They said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms. It was hard to believe. Death caps. They have a skirt around the cap, and my dad taught me that. But, the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone, and no one had any reason to hurt them. Must think it's very cool that their dad is a police detective. No. The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I think they were from our kitchen, you can probably check that. We never go into the cellar. It's just...
Большое спасибо! Большое спасибо! Большое спасибо. Всем пока. Пока-пока-пока-пока-пока.